Ever since I found out who Hatsune Miku was, I wondered if you could make your own somehow. And then I discovered you can make an UTAUloid. But what is an UTAUloid, you may ask? Simply put, UTAUloids are voice synthesizers using the UTAU software, and the term is usually used to mean synthesizers / characters that are self-made, and it's fairly easy to make your own, which is why I'm making this video. Do you know my OC Seno? I have used him for a few videos and made some other drawings and TikToks with him, otherwise he's a character that is being privately worked on. Originally he was a Vocaloid adjacent OC with really niche inspirations, but the character of Zeno Kazatana has evolved much beyond that. Still, his concept of being my very own UTAU was something I've been dreaming of since like 2015. My very first attempt was in 2018, where I actively watched tutorials for the first time. The problem was, I only had a laptop and I couldn't even run the UTAU program for some reason. Probably because of my stupidity, so I left it. In 2021, I got myself a PC and drew a first concept of Senny as a UTAUloid character, which is a redesign of an AU version of him, which I used for a long time. In 2022, I used my holidays to finally record his notes, but first editing them, I had issues trying to get his voice bank to work, so I dropped it again for another year. In 2023 was the year I re-recorded his notes and actually started editing. I also figured out that you need to put the voice bank in the voice folder of the program. Whoopsie. But I underestimated the workload and became busy with other stuff. So in 2024, I finally finished editing all the OTAU files, and he was ready to be used.
Konnichiwa, ohayo, namae wa Sennokaze da ne. Watashi wa tsugi ni UTAUloid desu. Yuyaku, kore ga dasete ureshii.
But using him for any sort of cover was a nightmare. First song I did was half of Electric Angel because that's a classic and I had to. Senny sounded really close to his voice test, but then a problem arose. He couldn't sing certain notes. I don't know why it doesn't work, some syllables just don't work even though they work perfectly other times. It's so weird. Sometimes I had to change the syllable to something that sounded similar, and at times even that wouldn't work, and I feel bad to change up lyrics like that, it just sucks. So in some covers he just sounds like he forgot the lyrics in the recording booth. Second thing was that the A syllable sounded so weirdly raspy, husky, compared to the rest, and I re-recorded it many times and it just doesn't work for some reason. So what I did instead was I grabbed a syllable that would be easily replaceable and edited it in a way that it can be a standalone note, which I did with the syllable sa. I can easily replace it with sa instead, and now I got a clean sounding A sound. I was less perfectionate about my general pronunciation of the syllables, so now Senny sounds heavily accented at times, especially with his rolly R's. Senny as an UTAU is a CV voice bank, which is pretty much the most bare bones voice bank there is when it comes to the notes. And I've made it extremely tedious for myself using USTs that either aren't made for CVs at all, or I have to retype in Romaji because of course I saved all the notes in Romaji. So making silly little covers is a whole day ordeal for me. Going back to the first couple covers for a second. Why do you sing in a different voice range now?
Otherwise,
the only song that has worked almost flawlessly was Dear, which was in fact the only song I'm in no trouble with. It's so funny to me, cause in every other cover he was always missing notes or I had to substitute the syllables, but in Dear, nah, perfect note singing all the way through. Unless I mistyped something, then that's on me. Even funnier thing is that Dear is what I consider to be Senny's signature song, so this cover going perfectly became character accurate somehow. My only complaint is that there is absolutely no clean instrumental version of Dear, so I have honorary background Miku singing with him. Now that all that is out of the way, I wanted to talk about his design and character a little bit more. So here's a sheet and a render. Yeah, I wanted to keep his casual design he did before, but modernize it a teensy bit and give it sorta a more androgynous flair. Also because his design is overall kinda bland, he got a bit of uniqueness sprinkled in with now being a puppet. Flow-wise, this would be a puppet replica of the actual Seno Kazatana, and he got little additional mascots, which I haven't made a sheet for yet, so the two little kittens are like helpful little mascots for performances, kinda like the little Miko's Pinocchio P uses. His name is also more for reference. Senny is his nickname and core is added like how people would call an aesthetic. I like to joke that things that fit Seno's character are SennyCore. I also think it's a cool stage name for him. Otherwise,
He looks like a flying kite who had a love child.
how do you even miss? It's more difficult to aim when he's so heavy. Anyway, I've also updated his V-Ride model. Remember that thing I did a year ago? You probably don't. It doesn't matter. If you made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you. And second of all, wish Senny a happy birthday. Hopefully I upload this right on time. This date is also what his tattoo is referencing. Otherwise, that's all for now. I might someday upload a cover with a little PV for it, but I'm unsure yet. I'll also still work on the sheets and maybe change up Senos a bit when I think of what to add. I really want to make him public in the future, but as I said before, he doesn't really work as I hoped he would, and I might take the time to give him a better voice bank or something while making covers of songs I like. Again, thank you all for watching and see you next time.